complementary and supplementary angles. So I have a poster board here. This is what y'all are gonna make, a graphic organizer, but at the bottom of yours, I want you to add an example and a non-example. So adding a non-example to your graphic organizer also helps you learn the vocabulary term. All right, so we're gonna start with complementary angles. So complementary, everybody hold a C. Doesn't matter with what hand, to C. Complementary starts with a C, right? The sum, what does sum mean? Add, subtract, multiply, or divide? Add. So the sum of the two angles that come out of a corner, because only right angles have corners, okay, is 90 degrees. So that means when you add to those angles, what are they gonna equal every single time? 90. Good. So C, complementary, comes out of a corner, and then also take your other hand and go like this. A C can turn into a 9 for 90. So it's just different ways to help y'all remember the difference between complementary angles and supplementary angles, okay? So y'all are gonna be making this graphic organizer, so start by getting a colored pencil. You can fold it in half, either hot dog style or hamburger, whatever works for y'all. And I want you to do it like this, and either write complementary at the top or at the bottom, but draw a big C in one color, and then turn the C into a 90 in another color. So it's a visual example of how the C becomes 90 for 90 degrees. So go ahead and fold yours in half. You want pink? Okay. Doesn't matter which one you use. Fold it in half. And we're just working on one side right now. So this graphic organizer y'all will be allowed to use for classwork, quizzes, and then by the time the test comes around, y'all can draw this at the top of your paper to help you remember. Vocabulary is very important in this unit. So go ahead and draw your C in one color. It doesn't matter however you want to do it, it just needs to be divided. See like how mine's divided? So right now we're just working on complementary angles. So draw a C like I did in one color. And then with another color, kind of do these dashes and make a 90, because complementary angle starts with a C, and it is the sum of two angles that equal 90 degrees. So eventually what we're working towards is that they're gonna give you a variable or an equation in one of the angles, and you're gonna have to set it equal to what? 90 degrees, and then you're gonna have to solve for the unknown value is what we're working towards. But first, I just want y'all to understand the definitions of complementary and supplementary angles. All right, so after you did your C and turn it into a 90, go ahead and write the word example and draw a right angle. And a right angle is always represented, and it has that little box in the corner to let us know that it is a right angle. And draw a line through it, and then put a number in one angle and a number in the other, but make sure that those two numbers add up to what? 90. So you're going to do an example and a non-example. So do an example first. Perfect, good. So what you should have on your paper is the C, that's turned into a 90, do an example, perfect. And then do a non-example. So you could either do an acute angle or an obtuse angle, but you want a non-example. And then you can draw this example as your right example. And then make sure you have the word complementary on there. And I added the word corner because the angles come out of a corner, and then I underlined the C because that just helps me remember it. So some people are visual learners, so if you learn things by looking at like maps or looking at charts, if you're a visual learner, this will help you memorize that it's 90. If you're a kinesthetic learner, the C with your hand becoming a 90 degree will help you. And then corner starts with C, complementary starts with C. That's for my auditory learners, which means you learn by listening. Do you know what type of learners you are? You're a visual? I was an audio learner, so I learned by listening. So like when I was studying, I couldn't listen to music because it was like too distracting. Because I had to talk out loud and like listen to myself and do notes. We'll do a quiz one day to see what type of learners y'all are. And it's really important to know like how you study and how you learn. So far you should have the C that turns into the 90, an example, and then do a non-example. So you can do an acute angle and obtuse angle. And make sure that you write somewhere the word sum, because you have to add these two angles together to get 90 degrees. Okay, great job, guys. Good. I love it. Do you want to write a non-example? Oh, I like how you did corner and underlined it. So write non-example, and then just do one that's wrong. What? Yeah, that's an acute angle. So then if you draw two angles, they're not going to equal 90 degrees, right? So that's a non-example. Good job. This is right. This is correct. Because 45 plus 45 equals 90. So even if this angle was like right here, and it was 1 and 89, would those two angles be complementary? 1 plus 89? Yes, because the sum, when you add them together, equals 90. You can draw like an angle going through there and do like 30 plus 30. Because that would be 60, which is less than 90, so it's a non-example. Make sure you write non-example above it. Perfect, great job. So what are y'all's questions so far with complementary angles? Anything?
So it's always going to be 90?
Yeah, the sum of the two angles is going to be 90 because this is a right angle. So if you draw a line here and make two angles, or here, as long as they both add up together to make 90, then they will always be complementary. And right angles are always what? 90, good. So then the sum of the two angles is 90 degrees. And they come out of a corner. So 90 will always have that box. Good job. All right. Give me a thumbs up if you're like, okay, I got it. Thumbs down, you need some help, or we can keep working on it. Perfect. All right, let's move on to supplementary. So however you're doing your graphic organizer, if you want to open it or flip to the back, it doesn't matter. Supplementary starts with an S. So first we're going to do like with our hands again. So everyone make an S. Make an S. What number does this kind of look like?
8.
An 8. So supplementary angles are going to equal to 180. So you're going to turn your S into an 8. Okay? And supplementary angles, supplementary starts with an S. What else starts with an S? Straight line. So these angles form out of a straight line. So on your graphic organizer, I want you to write the word straight line and underline that S because they're supplementary. And straight lines, the sum of these two angles, which means are we going to add, subtract, multiply, or divide them? Try again. Add. The sum means add. Okay? So when you add these two angles together, they're going to equal 180 every single time. 180, 180, 180. If they come from a straight line,
So you want us to do straight?
yep, you draw a straight line first. And then you can put whatever angle you want in there. They just have to equal the sum of them. So when you add these two together, they have to equal 180. Because that's what makes them supplementary. And then I would also like y'all to provide an example, which you can copy mine or you can come up with your own, and a non-example again. So some angles are really obtuse where they almost look like a straight line, but they're not a straight line. So you turned your S into an 8 for 180. The sum of the two angles equals 180, and they come out of a straight line. So while y'all are working, I have a critical thinking question, okay? So if you knew that this angle was 100, but instead of putting this angle here, they just had an X, how would you find out that angle, the missing angle?
Subtract 180 to 100.
Yes, good. So even if they have like a 2x plus 3 in this angle, and then 100 right here, you would set the whole thing, this angle plus this angle equal to 180. And then you would use algebra to solve. And that is what we are working towards the end of the unit, what y'all will be tested on. So do an example and then a non-example. Oh, you're really good. And I know this is what we went over right before spring break. So that it's hard to remember. And we just went over it pretty quickly. So that's why I would definitely want to do a visual and a mini lesson. And then we're gonna do some activities with stations today. Good job. I know it seems kind of silly doing a non-example, but if you can see the wrong answer, then you can also identify the correct answer. So it's really good for vocabulary if you provide a visual definition, an example, and then a non-example. It helps your brain remember it. Perfect. So supplementary starts with S, and then straight line starts with S. Or you can do this. It's whatever works for y'all. Alright? So these are the main ones we're talking about today. So complementary versus supplementary. So first you're gonna identify, in a small group I'm gonna give you examples of different angles and you're gonna tell me if they're complementary and supplementary. So then once we're done identifying them, then we're gonna solve for the missing angle. So first we're gonna identify if it's complementary or supplementary. Then step 2 is we're gonna solve, okay? Then over here at this station, there's an interactive game where you're gonna be doing the same thing. You're gonna identify and then you're gonna solve. And then after you're done with the interactive game, there's 2 different levels. There's like a mini quiz on Google Form that I sent y'all in an email, okay? So it's just to let me know what y'all understand, what we need to go over. It doesn't count as a quiz grade, okay? All right, one more thing I need to go over. Vertical angles, okay? Because you will have that in your game. So vertical angles share the same vertex. What's a vertex?
The edge. What makes it?
Yeah, the point where they meet, good. So vertical angles, you can also do a different color and make this a V, because a vertical angle starts with a V. And these are my favorite angles. Does anyone know why? Besides the fact that I'm just a nerd. Because they're across from each other, which means they're what? Not adjacent. They're vertical, but that means they're equal. So you don't have to do any math. So Jamal, if this is 42 degrees, this angle right here, and this angle is vertical to it, and it shares the same vertex, so we know it's vertical. It's 42. Exactly. Good job. It's the same. You don't have to do any math. You don't have to solve. You don't have to set it equal to anything. If this angle is 42, then this angle is 42.
It doesn't change?
No, they're equal to each other. They kind of like, it reminds me of looking at a mirror. They kind of mirror each other. They're the same. So if they share this common vertex right here, they make a V, and they share this vertex, then they're the same. This angle is 38, that angle is 38. So it can be any number, but they're vertical to each other. So they are the same, they are equivalent. And that's why they're my favorite, because you don't have to do any math. So if you see this on a quiz or test and it says solve for the missing vertical angle, do you really have to solve anything? No, they're just equal to each other. Okay, so you can go ahead and do that on the back. Now, I'm better blow y'all's mind more. If you know that this angle is 42 and that angle is 42, how would you find this angle? What do these also make if you cover this up?
Straight line 180.
A straight line. So you'll have some on the test where it gives you 1 and you have to find all 3 angles, okay? So you would do that by use a different piece of paper. So when we do the test or a quiz or just even working problems, have a piece of scratch paper so you can cover up part of it. So if this makes a straight line, are they complementary or supplementary? Yeah, good job. So you would subtract 180 from this, and then once you have this angle, how do you find this angle?
You say straight line 180.
You add.
If these 2 angles are vertical from each other, and it's an X, then these 2 angles are vertical from each other.
They're the same thing.
So they're the same. So once you cover this up and solve for one side, one straight line, you find this angle, you can just write the same thing over here. okay? And pop quiz, what are all four of these angles gonna equal?
42.
All four of the angles that make an X. Close, 180 plus what? Plus 180, 360. How many degrees is a circle? 360. If this is a straight line, it's 180. These two equal 180. These two equal 180. These equal 180. And these equal 180. The whole thing, all four together, all equal 360. You don't need to know that, but I was just sharing that with y'all, okay? So always have a scratch piece of paper where you can cover it up, because it's gonna get a little more complex. We're working towards that, we're not gonna do that today, but eventually they could have like a 2x plus 3 in there. So you would do 2x plus 3 plus 42 equals 180. But don't do extra work on the test, okay? If you know that angles are vertical from each other, they're just the same, and then these are vertical from each other too. Okay, so let's review before we do our station activity. All right, here, I'm gonna put this right here. Okay, C, complementary, what do they equal?
90.
90, okay. S, supplementary?
Okay, 180.
180, okay. If I'm a straight line, the sum of my two angles are what? Complementary or supplementary? If I'm a straight line. Good. If I'm a corner and I have two angles, then they're complementary. Great job, guys. And then if they share the same vertex, they're across from each other, vertical, and they equal the same. There's no specific number you have to memorize, okay? So, complementary, supplementary, vertical. All right, y'all can go ahead and log on and then check your email. Raise your hand if you need help. You guys can help each other. Y'all are gonna start solving by the missing angle, I think on level 2, okay? So, and y'all keep your graphic organizers out, use them as a guide. We are gonna do a small group activity here. Y'all are doing good. Y'all don't need help. Okay. All right. So first, we're just gonna identify angles. All right. So y'all write on your board C, S, or V, or neither. Okay. Or you can fill out complementary, supplementary, vertical. It's up to you. All right. You don't have to draw the angle. Are these two angles complementary, supplementary, vertical, or neither? And you can use your graphic organizer. Yours doesn't work. So bring extras. Yours doesn't work. What? Alright. Fine. I'll have that. Make it kind of a mess today, but that's alright. Alright.
I should write on the C or S, right?
Or V for vertical, or neither. So this angle, and this angle, and this angle, and this angle. Are they, use your graphic organizer, complementary, supplementary, vertical, or neither? Let me see your board. Okay. What do you think? If they share this common vertex right here and they're across from each other? Vertical. Good job. Yep, y'all agree. Alright. These two angles, complementary, supplementary, vertical, or neither. Okay, tell me why.
Is it straight?
Close. Okay, this is a straight line. So would it help put it in different colors? Alright, okay, so here's what the angles are coming out of. Is that a straight line or a corner? Yeah, so then here's the angle coming out of it, like this. So together, this angle plus this angle equals 180 because it's coming from this straight line. Okay, I'm gonna do it a little bit different now. I'll draw the angle first, the original. I'll do a different color, Shamal, okay? right angle here, and this line represents the angles coming out of it. So angle 1 plus angle 2, are they complementary, supplementary, or a straight line? Good, why?
Because it makes a 90. The C makes a 90.
Yeah, so angle 1
That's right.
plus angle 2 equals 90. And this box is your clue. If you need to, use your graphic organizer, okay? Alright. Alright, angle 1 plus angle 2. Complementary, supplementary, vertical, or neither? It's an acute angle. Close. It's neither. Okay? Let me show you why. Here, let me draw some examples on the top of my board and see. And use your graphic organizer too, okay? Supplementary. Vertical. I think of vertical because it always is gonna make like these. Sharing a common vertex. Alright, Jamal, what questions do you have? What questions do you have? Yeah, come on, you gotta have a question. Which one's confusing? Just keeping them all straight?
I mean, I know it's space.
Would it help if I drew the straight line or the corner in a different color? Is it just too many lines? Let's keep practicing, okay? Alright. So, how about this? Now, instead of the visual, because I'm more of an algebra person, I'm gonna give you numbers, okay? So you tell me angle 1 and angle 2. Alright, if I added these two together, would they be complementary, supplementary, use your calculator, complementary, supplementary, vertical, or neither? What'd you get when you added them together? So do we have one that equals 70? No, so it's what? Perfect, great job. Alright, now I'm gonna do a different one. Alright. I'm sorry. Alright, angle 1 is 102 degrees, so it's an obtuse angle. Angle 2 is 78 degrees, so it's an acute angle, but together they are supplementary. Why? What do they equal, Jamal? 180, perfect. So 180, so it'd be straight line. Alright, 45 plus 45. Use your calculator. Guys, there's no shame in using your calculator. Neither? Why do you think it's neither? What is 45 plus 45? Which is a kind of a trick question because they could be vertical angles. 90. So then use your calculator. So which one is equals 90? Complementary, look at your graphic organizer. Complementary, supplementary, vertical, or neither. Technically they could be vertical too because if you had vertical angles like this and one was 45, then the other would be 45. They're complementary, good.
Well, you're gonna have like a question where it's like, you tell them if it's vertical or action, and then tell them
Do you mean adjacent?
whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
They're gonna have you like tell them if it's vertical and then how many equals.
Like you're gonna have one that's vertical. I don't think you're gonna have one where it just asks if it's vertical or adjacent, but like it will have 23 degrees and then it'll ask you this angle, and this angle. So you do the one vertical for it first, then you cover this one up, subtract from 180, and then you get this angle, you'll have one like that with like a bunch of different angles and it only gives you one. And then some people get stuck and they're like, wait, I only have one angle, how do I find this one? And they forget that the ones that are vertical are equal to each other. That's a good question. Okay, so now let's start solving missing angles, okay? Jamal, you ready? Okay, so these angles are gonna be complementary. And angle 1 is 39 degrees. What is angle X? And I want you guys not just to do it in your head, I want you to show me algebraically how you would set it up. So 39 plus X equals blank, and then show me how you solve it. Actually, I want you to set it for me algebraically and then stop. Don't solve it yet. We'll go step by step. So this is angle 1. This is angle 2. Okay, what is it equal to? What do you say it equal to? What? Close. This is going to be angle 1 plus angle 2 equals what? And they're complementary. So what are you going to say your equation equal to? What do complementary angles always equal? Yeah, good job. Perfect. So then you would write equals 90 right there. That's what I mean when I say set it up algebraically. That's from the beginning of the year when we did algebraic equations. Okay. So angle 1 plus angle 2 equals 90. And then you guys can go ahead and solve for each angle. I mean for the missing angle. How are y'all doing over there? Are y'all solving? Angles? Good. Remember, y'all can use each other too if you have a question on one, if you get one wrong. So what is X equal? I'll go ahead and do it. So we're always doing the sum of the angles, so make sure you're adding the two angles together. Sum means addition, equals 90. And then remember, we get rid of something by doing the opposite. So 90 minus 39 is perfect. Great job. Perfect. And then just make sure y'all add the degree symbol. So it's kind of like adding like your unit of measurement, like feet, inches, but we're talking about degrees. So that little open circle is the degree symbol. Great. So these two angles are going to be supplementary. So this angle is an obtuse angle, so it's 111. So what does X equal? Find the missing angle. Remember, here's the sum. Good. Alright, you can go ahead and move on. Once you show me your equation, so 11 plus X equals blank, because they're supplementary. Supplementary make a straight line. Then you can go ahead and solve. I know you do not just do that by hand, so you use a calculator. Okay, you got 60. You got 69? 69? 69, perfect. Thank you for putting your degree symbol. Thank you. Joel, do you know what I mean when I say set it up algebraically? No? Okay, cool. Thanks for being honest. Okay, so remember, an algebraic expression or equation, an equation has an equal sign. It's like x plus 4 equals 5. So what would this be? What plus 4 equals 5? 1, yeah. So instead of just saying, Miss Davis says 1. Well, I want to see how you got 1. So x plus 4 equals 5. So what would you do to get rid of this 4? Yeah, great job, perfect. Subtract from both sides, then you draw a line, x, bring down your equal sign, x equals 1. So you knew the answer right away. You didn't have to do it algebraically. But that's how I want you guys to set it up, because eventually this is what we're working towards. And this is what will be on your test. It's going to say like, it could even be 2x plus 3 and x. And it wants you to find what x equals. It's a 3, so it would be 2x plus 3 plus x, because it's the sum of those two, equals 180. Then you'd have to combine like terms, so 2x plus x, 2x plus 1x is 3x plus 3 equals 180, so minus 3, and then you'd have to divide by 3. So we're not there yet, but I'm telling y'all, that's where we're going. So that's why even though it seems silly that there's only numbers right now, like we just did only numbers, that's why I want you to set it up algebraically. Because this is where we're headed. Okay? Okay. Alright, let's do another one. Jamal, give me an angle. Give me a number. 80? Okay. Set it up algebraically, please. Angle 1 is going to be 80 degrees, thank you, Jamal. And angle 2, we do not know. So write an equation. So Kane, if these are complementary, what are you going to set your equation equal to? Perfect, great job. And then solve for x, and hold it, don't show me yet, don't show me yet. Hold it, talk about it. How can you double check your answer? Yeah, perfect. Equals, and then what'd you say they're gonna equal? What'd you say they're gonna equal? Because they're complementary. No, you're right, don't worry, 90, good, so 90. So now we have to solve the missing angle. Perfect, great job. So I know you know the answer without having to do that. 90 minus 80. 10, so what does x equal? 10 degrees, perfect. You get it. I'm serious. Minus 80 equals 10 degrees. Thank you for putting your degree sign. Minus 80 equals 10 degrees. Thank you for putting your degree sign. Perfect. Great job. All right. You have a watch on? What time we got? All right, cool. So let's do one more. Okay, these angles are vertical. I'm going to go ahead and tell you they are vertical. I want to know what angle 3 equals. And these two are vertical. This is kind of tricky. So these are vertical. What is this one going to equal? Okay. Now, remember this also makes a straight line. So now you're looking at these. So you can cover this up, and this makes a straight line, angle 3. Or I'm just going to call this x. So if it's a straight line, what are they going to equal?
180.
So then you can set this one plus this one to 180. Because 180 is half of a circle. It's coming out of a straight line this way. I was not a visual learner, so geometry was really hard for me. So that's why I had to come up with tricks like covering half of it or manipulating and folding my paper to help me. And I actually haven't done the math yet, so let me do that really quick to make sure y'all are right. Y'all are doing really good. This is a lot of information. Thank you for putting your degrees on your right. Then what would angle 4 be? Alright, and then will you do me a favor and add all 4 of those angles together and make sure that we get what? What is the circle? Yep, perfect. Alright, this is just a 1-minute warning. Go ahead and finish up. We're about to switch. Are you all on the Google form, the quiz? You're still in the game? Okay, great job. It will save the game where you're at. Will you go ahead and take the quiz for me? Okay, perfect. Thank you. Alright, so then I'm going to give you all 5 more minutes. Perfect. Hey, where's your work? You didn't do it? Okay, well, you're going to do the next one. I want you to make up a problem using supplementary angles for Kane to solve, okay? And then I want y'all to switch, and you make up a problem for him to solve. Got it? All right. Let's get this worked out. You can do this. All right. Using your graphic organizer, Jamal, will you tell me if this angle plus this angle, if it's complementary or supplementary? Perfect, great job. You didn't even use your graphic organizer though. Alright, what about angle 1 and angle 2? What about these two angles? If I add them together, are they complementary or supplementary? Or neither? Neither, why? take a look again for me. This way? Straight line starts with a what? So the complementary or supplementary? Perfect. Good. You got this. Watch. Grab for me. Right? Focus for me, okay? Put down the marker. Geometry's really hard. You've got this. Alright, you make up a complementary angle problem for Josh yourself. Alright, Jamal, we're gonna make our own graphic organizer again, okay? This right here. Are these two angles complementary or supplementary? You got it. Oh, there's that smile. Good. Good. Why? Look at it. Why? It's 9. You went ahead of me. I was gonna ask you what it equaled next. Alright, so sometimes organizing things vertically will help you learn it. So these two angles, they're coming from a straight line. Is it complementary, supplementary, or vertical? Good. And what do they equal? Perfect. You didn't even have to use your graphic organizer. So Jamal, if you look at it like this, is that easier for you? Or how would you organize it on your paper if you could come up with your own? Okay. Okay. So you want it on your, you like to draw on your own whiteboard. That's great. If you know that works for you, then you are more than welcome to do it. So how about this? Will you draw me 2 angles that are supplementary? Supplementary. Good. Jamal, that's perfect. Thank you. Alright, will you draw me 2 angles that are vertical? Perfect. And why are those my favorite angles? Remember? Yeah, because you don't have to do the math because they're the same. Great job. Are you an auditory learner? Me too. Okay, so visuals, you just found out, this is what I love about doing small group. You just found out that it's easier for you if you draw on your paper instead of looking at mine, right? Because you're an auditory learner, so just looking at a visual isn't gonna be beneficial to you. And you need to say things out loud because you're auditory. So why don't you draw complementary angles on yours for me? And complementary equal what? Just tell me about it. Equal 90. Tell me about it like I'm a new student. Alright, keep going, y'all make up another problem. Y'all do a vertical problem that you have to solve for all 4 angles. Alright? Yeah. Jamal, we're the same type of learner, I completely understand. Alright, so you pretend like I'm a new student and you tell me about complementary angles. What are they? I don't know what they are, I'm a new student. Tell me about them. Yeah, what's 90? Yeah. So this angle minus that angle equals 90? Minus? Tell me more about it. This angle, what this angle equals 90? Yeah, good job. And then they're the what of 2 angles? Do you add, subtract, multiply, or divide them together? Add them, great job. Alright. Jamal, I am gonna do it algebraically for you, and you tell me. So looking at this equation, x plus 31 degrees equals 90. Before you even do the math, are x and 31 complementary or supplementary? This angle, this is angle 1, and this is angle 2. You don't know the value of this, but they equal 90, so are they gonna be complementary or supplementary? Yes, great job. Okay, what about angle 1 is 131, and angle 2 is 131. They're the same. Are they gonna be complementary, supplementary, or vertical? They're the same. Yeah, great job. And then angle 1 100 degrees and angle 2 is 80. Are these two angles gonna be complementary, supplementary, or if you add them together, I'm sorry. Why? Good job, great job. All right, so what works for you is writing it out algebraically, okay? I know visuals can be really hard with geometry, trust me. I'd rather do algebra, but you did a great job. All right, y'all ready to switch? All right, let's go ahead and switch.
Do we have the graphic organizer for that?
No, they have their own graph for us. Take your graphic organizer with you. I want y'all to use these from now on when we're doing these lessons, even when we go back to the other classroom. So come on over. So y'all will start with the game, and then I'll give you a 5-minute warning and you'll take the quiz, okay? And the quiz is just to let me know what I need to go over again, so don't panic, okay? And then Kane or Jamal, will y'all email Josh? That's okay. Alright, so go ahead and log on. Make sure you have your graphic organizer. Y'all did a really good job. Thank you for coming to small group. Alright, so when y'all were playing the game and taking the quiz, were there any that were hard for y'all? Or that you were just kind of like, I need more practice? Were there any when you were taking the game or the quiz that were like especially hard?
Yeah.
You got it now? Okay. Alright, so let's practice. So we're just gonna start by classifying, which means just telling me if it's complementary, supplementary, or vertical, okay? So, make sure y'all have markers or maybe dry out so it's perfect. Good. Okay. Alright. I'm gonna give you. Okay. Alright. This angle and this angle. Complementary, supplementary, vertical. Good. Why? Tell me about it. The X, and they share a common what? What's that right there? A vertex, but yes, it's the middle. Good job. Alright. These two angles, complementary. But the most important thing is that you know that starts with a C. Complementary. Good. Y'all's computers working, you're logging on, go into your email. And that's where you should find the link. Alright, last but not least, they come. Why? Yeah, it equals 180 and it comes out of a straight line is the base, and then it comes out of the straight line, and those two equal 180. Alright, perfect. So now we're gonna start solving the missing angle. The reason I'm gonna have you write it out algebraically is because this is what we're working towards. One angle is gonna be like 2x plus 3, the other angle is gonna be like x. And you have to solve. We're not gonna do that today, but that's what we're working towards, so that's why we wanna set it up algebraically, okay? Alright, you can use your graphic organizers too if you need to. We're gonna start. Alright, please solve for the missing angle. Angle 1 is x, that's what we don't know. And angle 2 is 21. I wanna see it written out algebraically first. Algebraically means writing an equation. So x, are you gonna do add, subtract, multiply, divide? Well, that's how you're gonna solve it with the, what's the definition? The blank of two angles. The sum, So this is, let me clarify, this is what I mean by writing algebraically. This is an equation. And then how do you solve for x? How do you get rid of 12? I'm sorry, 21. I was reading it upside down. How do you get rid of plus 21? Yeah, perfect, okay. So then you would just show me your work. And then 90 minus 21 is 69. Perfect, so the missing angle will be 69. But this is what I mean when I say write an equation. You know what it's equal to based on the definition, that's why it's so important to know vocabulary, okay? And then these are the two angles, and then you need to make sure you have an addition here, because part of the definition is the sum of, which means you add them together. Okay, good job. Alright, y'all all in the game? Or are you still sending Josh the link?
I just did it.
Okay, perfect. Alright, y'all use your calculator, use your graphic organizers, and then let me know if you have any questions, and y'all can ask each other questions too. Alright.
What's the exit ticket?
Exit ticket's like the little quiz, that's what you're gonna do the last 5 minutes. Or if you feel comfortable, because y'all have already done a small group, you guys can take that first and then play the game last. It's up to you. Alright, so this angle is 102 degrees. Please write me an equation and find this angle, the missing angle. So write me an equation first. So it's gonna be this plus x equals what? Get that. You transpose two numbers, it's okay, it happens a lot in the. Y'all are doing a really good job. Okay, I decided to do it. Alright, so the equation would be, and it doesn't matter, because in order of operations, it doesn't matter which you write first. You can write this one first, or you can write that one first, doesn't matter. So, 102 plus x, we don't know what that is, equals 180. We knew it was 180 because this is a straight line, there's supplementary, perfect. Minus 102, minus 102, x equals, alright, what'd y'all get? Perfect, and if y'all will just do me a favor, and when you're doing geometry, we're finding degrees, you just add your little degree sign. Great job, guys. Come on, these markers are strong, alright. Alright, find x for me, please. How do you know it's so fast?
Cause it's the same.
It's vertical, they're the same. Alright, now I have another trick question. This will be on your test. I cannot write those down. Alright, that's 34. Find this angle and this angle. Guess what? These make a straight line.
Yeah, cause you cover it up.
Cover it up. I'm gonna borrow your rough organizer. Cover it up.
It'll be one,
So how would you set up this equation?
134 plus x equals 20.
Perfect. Great job.
And then it'll be 146.
Double check your number. Perfect. Alright, so what's this angle gonna be then? Yes, great job. Alright, perfect. That's one of the, very similar to that is gonna be like your short answer on your test. Great job. Alright, let's do,
When it says, what is this angle, is it talking about what's the lower, or is it?
I'll have to see it sometime. Give me 1 second. Alright, I'm gonna give you all kind of a hard one. Okay. Solve for x. Y'all can use each other.
Who's just talking about that?
Okay, the angles are vertical. If one angle is 73, what is the missing angle?
And they're going to solve.
Yep. And it's gonna ask the question the same way on the test, but you know for vertical angles, you what? You don't really have to solve. Yeah, perfect. Great job.
Okay.
What?
Okay.
I don't know. Let's see. So how'd you set up your equation?
X plus 2 equals 9.
Okay, x plus 2, that's only this angle. You guys forgot about this angle. So you got this angle, but it's this angle plus this angle equals 90. So you'd have to do another x equals 90. Because the definition says this angle plus this angle. And then what's x plus x? What's 1x? No, what's 1x plus 1x? 2 x's. And then you bring down the 2.
And 2x plus 2.
Equals 90.
Okay.
This is as complicated as it's gonna get. So then you need to get rid of that by doing what? Minus 2, minus 2. So then you have 2x equals 88. And then how would you get rid of that 2?
You said 2 minus 2?
Which part are you at? How would you get rid of that plus 2 if it was an equation? So 90 minus 2 is what? 88. And then you're left with 2x equals 88.
So divide.
Yes, great job. So you divide both sides by what?
2.
Yeah. So then x equals what?
X equals
40.
44, so you have to divide it by 2. This is, I'm telling y'all, this is the most complicated it's gonna get. So I know it took a while to get there, but y'all did a great job. So x is 44, so this whole angle is 44 because that's just x. But what's this angle gonna be?
X plus 3. This is only 24.
not 44, this angle's x is 44 plus 2.
Eight,
What's 44 plus 2?
46.
There you go. You have to replace x with what you got. And then so you replaced 46, x with 46, and that says plus 2. We'll do another one. We'll take it step by step. Y'all are doing a really good job. Alright, Kane, what you got for 10?
12:46.
12 what?
42.
Alright, we're gonna do 3 more minutes, make sure you have the quiz finished up, and then we'll be good to go. Okay? I'll do a little recap. We're gonna do one more problem over here. Let's do a supplementary. So we have supplementary. So I want you to set up the equation first. These two angles are supplementary. Yay, good job, guys. Perfect. 2x plus 6. It doesn't matter, because the order of operations, you can write this first or this first. Doesn't matter, it's perfect. All right, go ahead and solve it. So what are we getting rid of first, the 2x or the 46?
2x.
no, 46.
Mm-hmm.
Minus 46.
Yep, exactly. Minus 46.
Minus 180.
Great job.
134 divided by 2 would be 67.
All right, so what's that first angle then? It's not 67, that's what x equals.
Yeah.
Y'all are killing it. Do I have a 2? I'm catching up to you. 2. So x equals 67, and then you plug it in. So 2 times 67, and that will give you the angle.
2 times 67 would be 134. When you, that's what I have to do.
Okay, so let's check our answer. Is 134 plus 46 180?
It should be.
It should be, you're right. So we still have a few more days before we have to master this. But y'all were just moving really quickly on classifying angles and then solving for them, so I went ahead with y'all. So if you don't have it like 100%, it's really fine. We have a few more days on this.
It's easy.
Y'all are doing a great job.
Even me.
Alright, we're gonna do a little recap, guys. Is everybody done with the quiz? Alright, so you can go ahead, it will save the game where you're at, so go ahead and close your Chromebooks. I just wanna do a little recap. Alright, I'm gonna ask each of you one question, okay? So be ready, don't answer unless I point to you. Alright, Kylie, angle 1 plus angle 2 is gonna equal how many degrees?
What'd you say?
This angle plus this angle is gonna equal what? Together, the sum, yes. Alright. Adam Maris, you're next. Alright, so you're good, Kylie, you can go ahead and clean up. It's okay, y'all answer at the same time, it's okay. Adam Maris, what is x equal? Perfect, alright. Jamal, if x equals 42, what type of angles are these? Complementary, supplementary, or vertical? Perfect, great job. Alright. If I add these two angles together, angle 1 and angle 2, Josh, what are they gonna equal?
180.
Why?
Because of the line meeting each other and the straight line.
Yes, they're coming out of a straight line. Great job. Alright, Kane. Should I do here? These two angles together equal 90. What are they called?
Complementary.
Why?
Because it forms a 90. It's a right angle.
Yeah, it's a right angle. It's forming 90. It's a C. Y'all, great job. Alright, perfect. We're gonna do this again tomorrow, and then we're gonna add triangles to it, but y'all are doing a fantastic job. Give me a thumbs up if you're like, okay, it's starting to make sense. Remember, you don't have to have it perfect today. Thumbs down, you're totally lost. You're like, let's keep practicing. Good. All right, guys, thank you.